And there's a look at the beast that'll be taking us from Niagara Falls all the way to the city of Toronto. That's a Chrysler 300M I have rented for the holidays. And hello there, it is Monday, December 25th, which makes it Christmas. Merry Christmas. The time is 7:42 p.m. and the temperature is a rather nice 7 degrees Celsius. And my plan was to head down Lundy's Lane over to Clifton Hill through the main tourist area, but traffic is not moving at all through that area. So I gave up on my first attempt at recording this, and we're just gonna have to live without going through that busy area. So instead what I'll do, I think I'll ride north up Lundy's Lane over to Dorchester Road, and then we'll head over to the QEW, hop on that, and take that all the way to the city of Toronto. And there I will jump on the Gardener Expressway. I've got my other Osmo Pocket 3 set up. I have never recorded a night drive before like this. I've got it in low light mode. So I'll initiate recording in a second here. And we will get rolling on our way to the city of Toronto. All right, let's get moving here. And this is a neat free parking area in Niagara Falls. If you don't mind a little bit of a walk, it's a good place to park and head over to the tourist area. But as you can see there, traffic is not really moving down Lundy's Lane. I thought it would be a relatively painless drive down one of the main stretches here, but I didn't feel like recording getting stuck in traffic. So we're going to make our way here up to Dorchester. And I think this will be somewhere around 130 kilometers to get back to where I'm going. I have no idea how the quality of this video will turn out, but I'll take a look when I get back. That is Main Street. We're about to pass by the Lundy's Lane battlefield. I live streamed my drive from Toronto to Niagara Falls this morning, and the last time I drove back I live streamed it, so tonight we're getting a pre-recorded video. Got a full tank of gas. I'm supposed to return this with 3/4 of a tank left. It says the range is 615 kilometers. So when I get to Dorchester Road, I'll make a right. And then soon after that, we'll make a left and we'll start heading north up to Toronto. was up visiting my mom, my brother, and his wife today for Christmas. I've got a lot of gifts in the car, including a new single-speed bike. Well, new to me. My brother has gifted me one of his many older bikes. And maybe we'll see some content made with that on the channel coming up. Left is to the Queen Elizabeth Expressway. QEW Hamilton and Toronto, keep right. Will do. Left would take me over to Fort Erie. If you're heading towards Buffalo, that would be the way. We are on the highway. There's a couple of vehicles pulling over there to the left. Seems to be a light fog in the air tonight. Traffic this morning was really light going from Toronto to Niagara. Usually when I make the trip, there's multiple slowdowns on the highway where you're bumper to bumper, but nothing of that sort this morning. And I checked Google Maps and it was only slow for one stretch along the Gardener on the way back. There's something you don't want to see, braking. This car is doing 90 in the left lane. It is braking and it doesn't appear to have anyone in front of him. Some pretty ass-tacular driving. Oh, there is a car right in front of him. Either way, neither of these vehicles should be to the left. They're not passing anyone, and that guy is hitting his brakes. And look at this fog. Visibility, not so good. There's another left lane squatter. If you're curious, I'm doing a $110. So that guy is barely doing 100, camped out in the left lane. How not to drive 101. It is 7:54 now. It took me a few minutes from when I did the intro to when I started recording. And tomorrow is Boxing Day. I was thinking of going to the Eaton Center and doing a video, possibly a live stream. 3 kilometers to Welland. So we'll be heading up over a big overpass and overtop the Welland Canal. I don't know if it's raining or if the fog is just so heavy, but there's some moisture accumulating on the windshield, and that triggered the auto windshield wipers. Hopefully that's not interfering with the recording too much. Still going about 110. One year I was making this drive in a smart car that I had borrowed from a car share service. It actually blew out a tire on the highway right around here. It was called Car2Go. It was kind of like a pay-by-the-hour car rental, but they would have these deals where for $90 you could use it all day and gas was included. So sometimes rather than rent a car, I would take one of those up to see my parents in Niagara Falls. And I blew a tire on the highway. I wasn't going fast or anything. And I called them to be like, what do I do? And I ended up saying, just leave the car where you are leave the keys in it, call yourself a taxi, and send them the receipt, and they would reimburse me for the taxi. So I ended up taking a taxi from here all the way back to Toronto. I think it was like $100 or something, and I remember tipping them $30. And Car2Go, I guess understandably, didn't reimburse for the tip, but I thought that was decent service on their part. I don't know what else they could have done, really. There go the wipers again. I think I want to go just a little bit faster than this guy. It is foggy, but visibility isn't too bad. I can see several cars ahead. Although our speed has dipped below 100. Should not be on your brakes like this guy on the left. He's following too close and then just braking to correct for it. And that car is being held up by the car in front of it. That's definitely a left lane squatter. This vehicle on the right was previously behind it, and now everyone's getting out of the way and passing right. And that is why you don't squat in the left lane. Just make things dangerous for everybody. Normally I might talk about some of the things we can see off on the side of the road, but it's so dark and foggy. I can't really see shit, to be honest, other than the road ahead. This might be a short-lived lane change. Nope. I do have the fan blowing on the windshield. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. I want it to be as clear as possible for the video. There's a disabled vehicle on the right. Always concerning when people are jumping on their brakes. So we're heading south towards the city of Hamilton, and then the QEW will bend to the right, which is east, and we'll pass through Burlington, and then Oakville, and then Mississauga, and then we'll hit Toronto. Current speed still around 110. That seems to be pretty much what the flow of traffic is tonight. 69 miles per hour. Wondering, there is nobody behind me. If I weren't recording, I would probably have a podcast on, maybe things you should know. I'm all caught up on the Waveform podcast. Sometimes I'll put on This American Life. Conan is one I watch or listen to. Can't even see these street signs. More brake tapping, which appears to be very like, why is that car on the right on their brakes? What are you doing? Casablanca Boulevard, 3 kilometers. Turn that windshield fan off. I am not sure exactly where we are. Grimsby, maybe? Let's see. Can't read that sign at all. If you were looking for... Oh, we're in Hamilton. Population 537. If you were looking for a particular exit sign, in conditions like this, they're very difficult to read. Road. Couldn't read that one until I was almost right under it. I guess the fog is the Achilles heel of those signs. And for the first time, I think I have had to brake. I didn't even have to there, but it seemed as if there was going to be a wave of red lights coming up. So we'll be on the Burlington Skyway pretty soon. And on a clear day, you'd have a pretty excellent view of the downtown Toronto skyline from well off in the distance, but we'll have no such luck tonight, obviously. Not that I could really point the camera over that way if I wanted to. Couple of disabled vehicles. Feels like things might be slowing down. There we go. Time is at 8:18. Fruitland Road. What a name. Apparently the next exit will take you towards the airport here, which I have never flown out of. I knew this guy was going to start braking. On the plus side, the butt warmers. And these car seats are excellent. This is a really nice lumbar adjustment. This might be some of the most comfortable seats I've been in a while. So the city of Hamilton has a Canadian Football League team, the Tiger Cats. They play at Tim Hortons Field. Previously, they played at a field called Ivor Wynne Stadium. And the former CEO of RIM, Jim Balasili, tried to bring an NHL team to Hamilton. And I think he also wanted to bring it to Kitchener-Waterloo. There's a recent Blackberry movie where you can see how that unfolded. Obviously didn't go his way, but they built an arena, Copps Coliseum, I think, in anticipation of one day getting an NHL team. One of the problems being they're in both the territory, I think, of the Buffalo Sabres and Toronto Maple Leafs. I think they'd need permission from both franchises. And the Leafs are such a cash cow. I think the threat of affordable NHL games in the vicinity would be an instant veto from them. Although if there was ever a market that could properly support two NHL teams, it would be the GTA for sure. Chicago has multiple baseball teams. LA has multiple everything. New York, the same. There's essentially 3 NHL teams in New York. All right, the fog seems to have cleared up considerably. That might have temporarily made things much worse. Video-wise, let's see if that clears up. right, I think I can see the Burlington Skyway up ahead. Burlington, 6 kilometers. Oakville, 28. Toronto, 62. Stay alert in winter weather. Shouldn't you stay alert in any weather? There's the Skyway straight ahead. All right, I should have stayed left. And soon after the Skyway, we'll be turning east. We'll stay left here. Wow, look how much clearer the visibility is. This is night and day from about 20 minutes ago. Don't speed. This message brought to you by the OPP. Here comes the split. QEW Toronto, keep left. You can also hop on the 407 express route. An HOV lane will appear to the left, which I am not eligible for driving in. But finally, we are going east in the city of Burlington, and it is 8:29. Let's see how long it takes to get to Toronto. There's that HOV lane making its appearance. Current speed, $120. Or 75 miles per hour. So this is Burlington, which I think is technically a suburb of Hamilton. I think more people commute from Burlington to Hamilton than they do into Toronto. My aunt and uncle live just north of here in Burlington. Well, that was quick. Goodbye, Burlington. Hello, Oakville. Population 194,000. Braking going on up ahead. Got my foot off the gas, just kind of hovering the brake. Traffic volume definitely picking up a bit. Dope. I was making such good time. Hopefully it's clear. Oakville Executive Golf Club is still here. That is a mostly par 3 golf course. I remember playing that back in the day. No par 5s. Mississauga, the center of Mississauga, 28 kilometers. Toronto, 49. It's time to crack my bubbly open. I'll still probably have to go by the time I get home, but whatevs, I'm thirsty. Trafalgar Road, 2 kilometers, and just beyond that will be the city of Mississauga, where I grew up. I think this is the last stretch of HOV lane before it disappears. I've been behind this burgundy, what looks like a Civic, pretty much the whole way. Since we turned east. A regional shopping mall on the left, Oakville Place. here's where I could go right and take the 403 up through the Mississauga City Center and connect to the 401 and take that over into Midtown Toronto. That would be probably the best way home. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to head in through downtown, so we'll stick to the QEW until it turns into the Gardener Expressway right as we enter Toronto. Toronto downtown. There's the Ontario Ford and Lincoln plant on the right. That used to be where they made the Ford Windstar way back in the day. I think the Mercury Villager, they called it. It's pivoted into more of a pickup truck plant, I think, in recent years. Welcome to Mississauga. 722,000 is the population. City where I grew up for the most part. I remember it used to only have 400 and something thousand. Driving past those signs in the 90s. I think this is the 7th biggest city in Canada, actually. We hit a sea of brake lights. And this is why the 403 would have been the quicker route. This is when you tell your passenger to pull out Google Maps or Waze and get a traffic update. when I left from Niagara, this part of the highway was green on Google Maps. Maybe it's this construction up ahead creating a bit of a choke point. It says construction in 1 kilometer. Hopefully that's just it. This is Port Credit, just south of here. Mississauga Road, 1 kilometer from here. Hopefully it is not like this all the way back. This was the first ever stretch of highway I drove on back when I got my G2 license and I was allowed to get on the highways. This was the first one that I went on. I don't think you could go on highways with your G1. All right, things seem to be picking up. Sweet. This This off-ramp is for Her, Ontario, sometimes called Highway 10, at least it used to be. They're currently building an LRT line heading up Highway 10 or Her, Ontario. It's kind of the closest thing to like a Yonge Street Mississauga would have, although it's mostly lined by strip plazas and sea after sea of parking lots. It will, however, take you up to Square One Shopping Mall. This car on the right, no lights on. Molly Maid, driving without any lights on at all. Let's see if they've got headlights on. Just their daytime running lights. I'm surprised no one has high beamed them. West Mall and Evans Avenue, 3 kilometers. By the time we hit those, we'll be in Toronto. Just a few kilometers from entering Toronto, the former city of Etobicoke. So I think it was 8:29 when we made the turn east along the QEW towards Toronto, and it is 8:54 as we are entering. So 25 minutes. There's the Welcome to Toronto sign. Now if I were going to Midtown, I could also head up the 427 here, up to the 401. And then take that over to probably Avenue Road. Or I could get off at Yonge Street, and that would be my quickest way home. It's also the way you would take to get up to the airport. But nah, we're gonna slice through downtown. I had second thoughts about coming over into this lane. So this highway is operated by the City of Toronto, at least for now. There's a deal in place to upload this and the Don Valley Parkway to the province. It says Yonge Street is 11 minutes away. I think in really clear traffic it'd be a little quicker than that, so it must slow down at some point. The speed limit, I think, is 90, not 100, like most provincial highways. But it would be City of Toronto Police and not the OPP that enforce this highway, at least for now. I wonder if the OPP will have to take over when the province takes over maintenance of the highway. There is a slowdown. I think it'll be just up ahead past the Humber River. Yes, why indicate? There it says Yonge Street via the Gardner 9 minutes, via Lakeshore 15. So that's not such a bad alternate. When they do close parts of the Gardner, Lakeshore is used as the official alternate route. This is the Humber we're passing over. Traffic's moving decent enough. Maybe I'll just take Yonge Street north. I already did a driving video going south down Yonge Street from Midtown, but it's quite different at night. I think traffic would be pretty light downtown right now. There's not a whole lot open or going on. Tomorrow will be another story, given that it's Boxing Day. No access to Lakeshore beyond Jarvis. Jarvis is another one I could get off at. I could take that north, and it'll lead me to Mount Pleasant, which I could take up to Midtown. Spadina, 3 kilometers. So on the right are the Exhibition Place grounds coming up. That's where BMO Field is, home of the Argos and Toronto FC and future World Cup. At least a few of those games. And look at that, the CN Tower is barely visible tonight. Must have turned down the dimmer switch. Time to start thinking about moving over. Don Valley Parkway, 5 minutes from here. Feels like it should be much quicker than that. It said Eglinton, 11 minutes. I live on Eglinton, but the DVP, or close to it, the DVP in Eglinton is quite far. All right, let's slide over. Oh. Sure this guy has room to come over. There's the Sky Dome over on the left. York, Bay Street, and Yonge Street. Well, there's a bit of construction on Bay Street. York Street North, keep left. That's an option I could have taken. There's York Street. Oh, we're catching all the lights. This is Bay Street. And keep left for Yonge Street, heading north only. Another light? Unreal. heading underneath the Gardener Expressway where we just were. And then the rail corridor. Hopefully after this construction, things clear up. That is Front Street. So on the left is the financial district, the right, the St. Lawrence Market neighborhood, or just the St. Lawrence neighborhood. Bit of a gong show. See if any of these cars get stuck in the intersection here when the lights change. No, it's a Festivus miracle. Some cars bailing and making a left along Temperance. That's probably the smart thing to do. They're probably heading over to Bay Street. I would not have guessed this to be this busy right now. This is Richmond Street here. It's interesting, a westbound one-way street with no left turns allowed. We're not even going to clear the intersection. This has turned out not to be the best decision. The guy on the left, this car is on his phone. I was like, should I take his picture? Well, then I would have to be on my phone. Wonder if we'll even clear the intersection here. Got the light. Yeah, it looks like I can at least slip through here. Give this Jeep behind me a wave. And we have found our choke point. So it should get better just north of Queen Street. I definitely should have taken Jarvis or Bay or Spadina or anything but this. It was a very short light cycle at Richmond Street. You can hear a subway rumbling by underneath. Well, this intersection is not a terrible one to get caught in the middle of, because you're not blocking anything, as long as you're not blocking the pedestrian crossing. As Queen Street is closed on both sides here, east and west. So there will be an opportunity to turn off Yonge Street at Shooter. Let's see how things look just north of Shooter. Got a couple of illegally parked vehicles, creating a bit of a choke point here on the right. Yeah, Yonge Street is just a gong show up ahead. Thinking I might want to turn right here onto Shooter. Even though Yonge and Dundas is just up ahead. Let's get out of here. We are moving. How nice is this? On the east side of downtown, this is Church Street. And we could go up Church, but recently recorded a video down Church. Let's go up Jarvis, and I'll take that to Mount Pleasant. I'm regretting opening that can of bubbly. It is bathroom time. Here's Jarvis Street. It's amazing how much more dead just a few blocks east is of Yonge Street. See that red X over that center lane, meaning it is a southbound lane. So the right two lanes are for northbound traffic. Oh yay, probably an Uber Eats driver. And another one. Well, it's hard to complain. At least we're actually moving now. This is Gerrard Street East. So from a trying to be efficient point of view, this drive was all kinds of stupid. I would have been home by now if I took the 403 or the 427 to the 401. This is Carlton Street. Maitland, the world's slowest car off the line in front of me. What is that, Flintstone powered? All right, so just up here, keeping right, will spit us out onto Mount Pleasant, which should be a pretty quick jaunt up to Midtown. That's Isabella Street. Here we go, Mount Pleasant Road. Had I have stayed on Yonge Street, I doubt I would even be up at Yonge and Dundas by now. Car in front of me does not have its lights on. Just flashed my beams at it. No? Nothing? Let's do it again. There we go. That's all it takes. They must have had an oh shit moment. Now if I could only flash them to move a little quicker. So this is Moore Avenue. We're in the Deer Park neighborhood. And I think the camera overheated or something. Either way, the ride is done. You only missed a few kilometers or so. So on that note, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support the channel, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. Man, I am tired. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button if you wish to say thanks that way. Anywho, thank you for watching. Don't know why I just looked left at nothing, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink.